So I'm just gonna start tapping already. I got a mammogram earlier this week, and I just got a call back saying that they need to see me right away to repeat the mammogram on one of my breasts. And it's interesting because I know that, consciously, right, I know that there's nothing to freak out about right now. I know friends who have had to have repeat mammograms, and there isn't a history of breast cancer in my family. But I'm feeling some kind of way about that. So I'm just gonna let myself express that and use EFT to do so. And just ask my conscious brain to go sit in the waiting room. This is something I tell my clients when they're having some emotion come up, and our rational brains start immediately going into all of the reasons why we need to stay calm. We don't need to be feeling the way we're feeling. And what that does is it fosters a sense of feeling unsafe in our bodies to express a completely appropriate reaction to hearing scary news. So I'm going to do traditional EFT with this and start on my hand. So even though I have to have that mammogram repeated, and I don't know why. It's kind of fucking annoying that they don't have the person that can give you more information, call you to tell you something like that. And I'm just letting myself get this out and admitting that I feel a little scared right now. And I accept myself and honor how I feel. So even though I'm feeling scared, and there's like something else too, like, we were feeling really good about this year. And what if this fucks that up? I accept myself and honor how I'm feeling. So even though I'm feeling a lot of emotion right now, and I feel it in my throat and my chest, I accept myself and honor how I'm feeling. I just got this call. I need to go back for a mammogram. And I'm feeling fear. What are they gonna say? Is this gonna fuck up this year? Because I was certain it was gonna be a really good one. And now I'm scared that it could be the worst case scenario. I'm feeling scared about this callback. So I'm gonna take a breath. I'm feeling a lot of emotion in my throat right now. I feel less like crying and more just like a kind of lump in my throat. I'm actually gonna take my necklace off. Sometimes I feel like that distracts me a little bit. All right. Even though I'm feeling this fear, Actually, I'm more annoyed that it's not the person, even though I'm fucking annoyed. Like, why would the person that can't give me more information not call me first? I'm annoyed that I have to spend time wondering when maybe I wouldn't have to. It really annoys me. And I accept myself and honor how I feel. I'm feeling annoyed. If it was a possibility that the radiologist could have called me, why didn't they just do that? I'm feeling annoyed. Why do I have to spend any amount of time managing the gap between this phone call and the next one? I'm feeling really annoyed. Feeling really annoyed. All right. So now I can just tune in to having more like clarity around that. Like maybe it was more important to just have the person who could schedule and get me in as fast as possible call me versus the person to tell me anything. I do know that I wasn't bitchy to the tech, don't worry, because if it was the same woman that took my things the other day, she was delightful. Yeah, I do know that they aren't allowed to give us any information. But yeah, that's where my anger kind of was, like, why the fuck would, because when I asked like, hey, can somebody call me today just so I don't have to think about this anymore? She said yes. So I just feel like kind of calm now, like, okay, maybe that's the fastest way to have gotten me booked. Great, I feel fine about that. I definitely still feel something in my throat. I think it's just like fear. So I'm just gonna let myself really kind of focus on that right now, because that irritation, especially when we like feel anger, it's often a secondary emotion. And so, could it come up to protect me from like the depth of fear that is there? And because I feel a little more, I can even like talk about this right now. Like that's kind of a protective measure. So when I say like we never have to like be scared of our emotions, and that they exist to give us information and they exist to help us with something like this is in real time exactly what I mean. I almost kind of wish I was doing a live, but this was just a little too personal for that. So anyway, tuning back in, and I definitely feel in my throat and chest. So even though I feel this fear in my throat and my chest, what if it's the worst case scenario? I accept myself and honor how I feel, even though. So now I'm having, I'm just gonna let myself tap and breathe for a minute as I talk this piece out, so I feel guilty because I had a breast reduction in 2015, and it's like this guilt, like what if I didn't appreciate what I had? So I'm just letting myself express that. I didn't appreciate what I had. What if the worst thing happens and I didn't appreciate what I had? I'm taking a breath, tuning in. that piece is really settled too. Like, I don't feel like this, like my breast reduction caused anything to come up here. And I also know like the quality of life having had that breast reduction has given me, like, there was only positive things that came out of that. And I do appreciate my breasts now. And so yeah, that part feels good. So I'm going to tune back into that fear still, because I can still feel that a little less intense. So even though I'm still feeling this sensation in my throat, this tightness, it feels like fear. What if it's the worst case scenario with this mammogram? What if it fucks up my business plans this year? I accept myself and honor how I feel, even though I'm feeling this fear. What if it's the worst case scenario and it fucks with my business plans this year? I feel this tightness in my throat when I think about it. And I accept myself and honor how I feel, even though when I think about the worst case scenario, I feel this tightness in my throat and a little bit in my chest area. I accept myself and honor how I'm feeling. I'm just gonna keep letting myself talk now. So what if it's the worst case scenario? And I'm gonna bring in both hands now. What if it is the worst case scenario? I feel this fear in my throat when I think about it. What if this fucks with plans I have this year? Interesting how it's like business shit that comes up for me. Like, what if it's the worst case scenario and this fucks with plans I have this year? So what I'm just kind of hearing now is, even if it is the worst case scenario, and I mean like my worst case scenario is that I would have to have like a mastectomy or go through chemo or something. Like, I don't, whoa, something just came up, like maybe you will die. Maybe I can let myself explore that in a minute, but that also feels like, okay. Yeah, it's scary that like what's meant for me will never be withheld. And I don't think that's an early death. So I feel like really like, yeah, of course I'm scared, but I also feel like it's like I've been heard and I can just let myself kind of go on with my day. There's like a little something here, even though I kind of want to tell somebody now. But I don't want them to freak out about it. I accept myself and honor how I feel, even though I kind of want to reach out and tell somebody. I accept myself and honor how I feel, even though I kind of want to reach out and tell somebody, but I'm worried that that's selfish. That it's selfish to want to be cared for in a moment that I feel vulnerable. And I don't want it to ruin anybody else's day. And I accept myself and I honor how I feel. Even though I can handle this alone, I kind of don't want to. And I don't want to make anybody else feel bad. And I don't want to scare anybody else. And I don't want to give them something to worry about. I kind of want to reach out to somebody. Because I don't want to be this scared by myself. And I'm worried that that's selfish. And I don't want anybody else to freak out. It feels kind of lonely right now. It feels kind of lonely to deal with this in this moment by myself. It's feeling kind of lonely. It's feeling kind of lonely having to deal with this on my own. Feeling lonely. I'm worried about reaching out and making anybody else worry. I'm gonna do like one more round on that just to test it. I do feel like a shift, but sometimes brains be sneaky, and so I'm gonna just do that. So even though I want to reach out and know that people care about me, and so I want to let somebody know. Actually, that was it. It was like, so right now, kind of the clarity I have is I don't have to freak out in this moment. Somebody is going to call me back today and give me more information. In this moment, I feel like really confident and really hopeful that the information is going to be like, hey, there was just an anomaly there, and it's, we like to take care of this sooner rather than later. So that's why we want you to come in Friday. Like, totally, that I can hope for that. In the absence of any other information, I feel really good, like, thinking that, reminding myself of that in this moment. And also, like, so my plan is I don't have to tell anybody about this until if/when they call me back and give me different information. And if that information is something scary, yep, at that time, I can call in my support system and ask for their care. And I think, and it's this interesting because even when I tapped on that, I realized like, oh, it was like this fear that people didn't care about me, right? Like I needed to like reach out and tell somebody so that I could feel like somebody cared about me. And what that last tapping round really shifted for me is like, well, A, I care. And I know my friends and my family care about me and my cats. I don't need them to worry. I don't need them to commiserate with me in this moment for me to know that. And so that feels like pretty awesome, actually. I feel like it's just a celebration of a lot of the work that I have done in the last year to cultivate friendships, to nurture friendships, not just like with other people, but with myself. And so I just feel like, man, girl, go back to what you were doing. Wait. And it's not even gonna be waiting for them to call. Like, they'll call when they call, and I'll see them on Friday. I mean, I'm annoyed. I'm not even annoyed. Yes, I have shit I want to do Friday that didn't involve driving across the island to get my boobs smashed again. But isn't it amazing that my life allows me to have the privilege of being able to do this? I know other people don't. And I know that without like shaming myself, like without feeling bad about that, because that's not a shaming ourselves for privilege that we have instead of using it to better the world. That for me, like, why would you put your energy into anything other than using it to make a positive impact? With that being said, if you are somebody who finds that difficult, you should consider working with me, because this is the type, like, the reason why I'm so calm and the reason why I was able to like come and do this and right away and tap and like really deeply listen to what my body is telling me right now is because of all of the inner work that I have done with my coaches throughout the years and the deep dive work I've done. So I'm gonna go get back to what I was doing, and I'll keep you posted.